Hello and welcome. My name is Alan, and today we are back with more Prose Edda. Yeah, we're coming down to the end of the actual content in the book, but yeah, let's go ahead and jump into this with part 10, The Never-Ending Battle. Battle is called the weather of the storm of Hjadnings, and weapons are known as the fires or the wands of Hjadnings. There is a story behind these names. A king named Hogni had a daughter named Hild, or Battle. While King Hogni was away at a king's assembly, King Hedin, Hjardarson, abducted Hild, taking her as a prize of war. When Hogni heard that his kingdom had been raided and his daughter had been taken captive, he set out with his men to search for Hedin. He learned that Hedin had sailed north, following the coastline. But when King Hogni arrived in Norway, he heard that Hedin had sailed west over the sea. Hogni then sailed after them all the way to the Orkney Isles, which he reached at the place called Hay, or Hoey, or High Island. Hedin was there waiting with his men. When Hild went to meet her father as a sign of reconciliation from Hedin, she offered him the gift of his necklace. She informed him that otherwise Hedin was prepared to fight, and if he did, there would be no hope of his showing Hogni any mercy. There would be no Hogni's response to his daughter was harsh. When she returned to Hedin, she told him that Hogni did not want to reconcile and advised him to prepare for battle. Both sides now went to the island, the two sides drawing up in battle order. Hedin then called to Hogni, his father-in-law, offering to settle with him. He proposed to pay a large compensation in gold. Hogni replied, "It is too late for you to want to settle and make such an offer, because I have now drawn Dane's or Dane's legacy, from its sheath. The dwarves made it, and it must be the death of a man each time it is unsheathed. Its stroke never fails, and its wounds do not heal." Then Hedin replied, "You boast that your sword, you boast about your sword, but not about victory. Still, I call good whatever serves its master well." The battle, named the Fight of the Hjadnings, then began, and they fought all through that day. At dusk, the kings returned to their ships, but during the night, Hild went with the went to the slain, and through magic she awakened all those who were dead. On the second day, the kings went to the battlefield, as did all those who had fallen in the previous day. In this manner, the battle continued day after day. All who fell were turned to stone, together with all the weapons and shields lying on the field. But at that dawn of the new day, all the dead men stood up and began to fight again, while all their weapons became like new. It says in the poetry that in the way of the Hjadnings await Ragnarok. Concerning this tale, the poet Bragi composed a passage in the normal poem about Ragnar Lodbrok, or Ragnar's Drapa. The poetic reference from Skaldskaparmal, translated by Russell Poole. In addition to the myths and legends above, Skaldskaparmal contains many specific examples of kennings and other instructional information about the language of the Skaldic verse. These passages, of which the following is an appreciable sampling, teach in a schoolmasterly tone how to refer to the gods and goddesses as well as to the people, places, and things. At times, the passages offer, as otherwise known, mythological, legendary, and genealogical information. As with Heimdall's story translated below, many of these passages are short and sketchy. Luckily, a good number of the stories that are mentioned in this section are told more fully elsewhere in the Edda. An explanation of kenning structure. Then Aegir said, "In how many ways do you vary the diction in poetry, and how many types of poetry are there?" Bragi replied, "All poetry belongs to one or another of two types." Aegir asked, "Which two?" Bragi said, "We classify poetry according in diction and meter." "What kind of diction is used in poetry?" "There are three categories." "What are those?" "I'll tell you. One is to name things by their ordinary names. 2. To substitute alternative names. 3. To use what are called kennings. To understand this third type of diction, suppose that in a poem I use the name Odin or Thor or Tyr, or some other name identifying one of the Aesir or the elves, but add to it a characteristic or attribute that properly belongs to another god or elf. Then it is this other personage that is referenced in the kenning and not the one actually named. For instance, I might say Tyr of victory, or Tyr of the hanged man, or Tyr of the cargo. And then in each case, I am adding a piece of diction that relates to Odin. The phrase as a whole then refers to Odin, not to Tyr. We call that a name with identity, with identifying attribute, or Kent Heitai. An example is Tyr of the wagon, referring to Odin. Kennings for gods. How should Thor be referred to? By calling him the son of Odin and Earth, the father of Magni, Modi, and Thrud, and husband of Sif, the stepfather of Ul, the wielder or possessor of the hammer Mjolnir, of the mighty girdle, and of the hall Birsknir, the defender of Asgard and Midgard, and foe and killer of the giants and Tro women, the adversary of Hrungnir, Geirrod, and Thrivaldi, the lord of Thjalfi and Raskva, the enemy of the Midgard serpent and the foster son of Vingnir and Hlora. How should Balder be referred to? By calling him the son of Odin and Frigg, the husband of Nanna, the father of Forseti, the possessor of the ship Hringhorni and the ring Draupnir, the adversary of Hod, the comrade of Hel and the god of laments. How should Njord be referred to? By calling him the god of wagons and the descendant of the Vanir, one of the Vanir, the father of Frey and Freya, or the god of gift giving. How should Frey be referred to? By calling him the son of Njord, the brother of Freya, the god of the Vanir, the descendant of the Vanir, and one of the Vanir. The god of a good year and the guest of wealth. He is called the foe of Beli, the possessor of the boat Skidbladnir, and the boar Golenbursti. The boar is also called Slidragrani. How should Heimdall be referred to? He can be called the son of 9 mothers, the watchman of the gods, as stated previously, the white one of the Aesir, Loki's foe, and the seeker of Freya's ring. The phrase Heimdall's head is a way of referring to a sword. The story goes that Heimdall was struck through by a man's head, and there is a poem about him called Heimdall's Chant. As a consequence, a head can be referred to as the undoing of Heimdall, just as a sword can be called a man's undoing. Heimdall is the owner of the horse Gulltopp. He is also the voyager to Vagaskar and Singastein. It was on that occasion that he and Loki came to blows over the ring of the Brisings. The skald Ulf Uggason devotes a lengthy passage to the story of his poem Husdrapa, and it is stated there that Heimdall and Loki took on the shape of seals. Another name for Heimdall is Vindler. He can also be called son of Odin. How should Tyr be referred to? By calling him the one-handed god, the foster father of the wolf, the god of battles and the son of Odin. How should Bragi be referred to? By calling him the husband of Idun, the first maker of poetry, the son of Odin, and the long-bearded god. Hence, anyone who sports a big beard is called a bearded Bragi. How should Vidar be referred to? He can be called the silent god, the possessor of the iron shoe, the foe and the slayer of the wolf Fenrir, the avenger of the gods, the god who lives for his father's house, Site, the son of Odin and the brother of the Aesir. How should Vali be referred to? By calling him the son of Odin and Rin, the stepson of Frigg, the brother of the Aesir and the god who avenged Balder, the foe of the slayer of Hod, and the resident to his father's house Site. How should Hod be referred to? By calling him the blind Aesir, the killer of Balder, the shooter of the mistletoe and the son of Odin, the comrade of Hel, and the foe of Vali. How should Ul be referred to? By calling him the son of Sif, the stepson of Thor, the god who skis, the god with a bow, the hunting god, and the god with a shield. How should Honir be referred to? By calling him the seatmate, comrade, or trusted companion of Odin, who the fast-moving god, the long legs, at the liking of clay, or the king of clay, sorry. How should Loki be referred to? By calling Loki the Farbauti and Laufey or Nal, the brother of Bylist and Helblindi, the father of the spear of the river Van, who is the wolf Fenrir, the father of Jormungand, who is the Midgard serpent, the father of Hel and Nari, the kinsman and father's brother of Ali, the comrade and benchmate of Odin and the Aesir, the guest of Gerod, the adornment of Gerod's wooden chest, one who steals from giants, the thief of the goat, of Idun's apples, and of the ring of the Brissings, the kinsman of Slipnir, the husband of Sigyn, the foe of the gods, the wrecker of Sif's hair, the author of woes, the sly god, the one who slanders and betrays the gods, the one who engineered Balder's death and bound the bound one, and the vexing litigant against Heimdall and Skadi. References to goddesses. How should Frigg be referred to? By calling her the daughter of Fjörgyn, the wife of Odin, the mother of Balder, the rival paramour of Earth, Rind, Gunnlod, and Gerd, the mother-in-law of Nanna, and the queen of the gods and goddesses of Fula, and of the falcon's feather cloak, and the halls of Finsalir. How should Freya be referred to? By calling her the daughter of Njord, the sister of Frey, the wife of Odd, the mother of Hnoss, the possessor of those fallen in battle, of the Hall Sesrumnir, of male cats, and of the ring of the Brissings, the god of the Vanir, the household deity of the Vanir, and the god whose weeping is beautiful. Any goddess can be referred to by kennings by associating her characteristic possessions, activities, or family members with the name of another goddess. How should Sif be referred to? By calling her the wife of Thor, the mother of Ul, the goddess with beautiful hair, the rival concubine of Jarnsaxa, or the mother of Thrud. How should Idun be referred to? Call her the wife of Bragi, the guardian of the apples, these apples being a remedy for old age used by the Aesir. She is also the plunder taken by the giant Thjazi, since he abducted her from the Aesir, as previously stated. References to sky, earth, and natural phenomena. How should one refer to the sky? By calling it Ymir's head, and hence the giant's skull, the burden of the heavy load of the dwarves, the helmet of the dwarves, west, east, south, and north, the land of the sun, moon, heavenly bodies, constellations, and winds, or the helmet of the house of the air, of the earth, and of the sun. How should the earth be referred to? Call it the flesh of Ymir, the mother of Thor, the daughter of Onar, the bride of Odin, the rival concubine of Frigg, Rind, and Gunnlod, the mother-in-law of Sif, the floor or footing of the hall of the winds, the sea trodden on by animals, the daughter of night and the sister of Ald and Day. How should the sea be referred to? By calling it the blood of Ymir, the visitor of the gods, the husband of Ran, the father of the daughters of Aegir, whose names are Himingleiva, Duffa, Bladaghada, Hefring, Udur, Huron, Balgia, Bara, and Koga, by calling it the land of Ran and the daughters of Aegir, and the ships or of the names of seagoing vessels, and of the keel, and of the prow, and of the planks and seams, and of the fish and of ice, and calling it the way the routes taken by sea kings, likewise the ring of the islands, house of the sands, and seaweed and rocky islets, or the land of fishing gear, seabirds, and the following wind. How should the sun be referred to? By calling it the daughter of Mundirfori, the sister of the moon, the wife of Glyn, and the fire of the heavens and the air. How should the wind be referred to? By calling it the son of Fornyat, the brother of Aegir and of fire, the breaker of timber and the enemy, destroyer, hound, or wolf of timber, of the sail and of rigging for the sail. How should the fire be referred to? By calling it the brother of the wind and of Aegir, the ruination and the destroyer of timber of houses, and undoing of half, and the son of houses. How should winter be referred to? By calling it the son of Vinzval, the mortal foe of snakes, and the season of blizzards. How should summer be referred to? By calling it the son of Svasad, respite for snakes and growing time for men. References to men. How should a man be referred to? He should be referred to in terms of his work, what he supplies or receives or does. He can also be referred to in terms of his possessions, both those he owns and those he gives away. Likewise, in terms of families he is descended from and those who are descended from him. How should we make up a kinning for him based on these features? It is done by calling him the performer or advancer of his journeys, doings, fights, voyages, hunting, expeditions, weapons, or ships. Thus, he is the prover or Rainir of weapons and the maker of war, the sword maker, or the word maker, being equivalent to performer, vidder. Now the word Rainir also means rowan tree, or the word vidder means timber in general. With these words as a point of departure, poets have called men ash, maple, or grove, or used other masculine gender words for types of tree, adding identifying attributes such as those of battles, or ships, or of property. It is also correct to refer to a man by using all the different names of the gods. Giants' names can be used as well, but that is merely or mostly for the purposes of mockery or satire. It is considered appropriate to use the names of the elves. But yeah, we'll go ahead and end this episode here. We are almost finished. We have a few more notifications on the use of references, and then we will go through appendixes to get little bits of information as well. But yeah, we have almost finished the Prose Edda. There's genealogical tables, notes, all kinds of notes. But yeah. Glossary of names. We have almost finished the book. So maybe an episode, maybe 2 left. We are just about there. But I'll go ahead and end this episode here. As always, educate thyself, think, read, study, learn. Someone tries to tell you something you have trouble believing, ask them to cite their sources. I'll see you all in the next episode. Until then, later.